Today is Tuesday, the 30th of March 2010, and I am here to receive Father God's daily message. And he is saying, today is the day of the full moon, and as you have seen, if you have been following the messages that have been placed upon that 2012 timeline page at the 2012countdown.com website, you will understand that these events, these full moons, along with the solstices and equinoxes and eclipses and so on, are all powerful dates, powerful gateways, you could say. And by and large, humanity has forgotten about the power of these gateways. And yet, if you look in your history, you will readily see that the ancients respected these dates. They were used to drive planting and harvesting by those who lived in a rural environment. They were used to mark festivals of various sorts because there was an understanding of the energies that came through these gateways. And indeed today, if you look in countries like India, for example, amongst the Hindus and the yogis, you will find that there are celebrations of these key dates still happening today because they do understand the power of these events. And as humanity by and large has left that direct relationship with the land, with the soil, you could say, these relationships have been lost. You have all become by and large lost in that day-to-day rush to survive, to figure out how to make life work in the day-to-day minutiae. And I am not in any way criticizing any one of you. I simply mention this to acknowledge the difficulty and the challenge of life as it has been structured for you by those of the dark, because it is not the path of the light to have all of humanity struggle to survive as it is having to do. Yes, there are a few who are doing well in this context. They have the financial resources, they have the health, they have the relationships that make life work for them. But by and large, that is a small percentage of humanity. And when you have passed through that transition in early 2013, the nature of life, as I have said to you, will be completely different. You will not need to struggle to have those things in the physical that you require, because you'll be able to simply bring them forth from the background energies, you could say. And so life as you understand it will truly transform. Your focus will be on a completely different level. And so let me return to the energies of this full moon. And I am aware that Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene came forth to share messages about the specifics of the energies. And I do not wish to repeat what they had to say. They said it, in my view, more eloquently than I could begin to. They bring that feminine touch that connects with the human heart in such a beautiful way. And so I just wanted to acknowledge this date because, as Mother Mary said, it is truly, you could say, activating that conveyor belt that Yeshua spoke of, and I mentioned in one of my earlier messages, the power of this drive system, of this conveyor belt, is being activated by these energies. And all that has been spoken of in those messages on that 2012 timeline about what will unfold will truly begin in earnest from this date. And so it is a time of extraordinary change, as I have said, that is beginning to unfold, and it truly will begin in earnest from this time. What is not yet recognized, and I wish to take a moment to acknowledge it, is that those beings of the dark that have been setting the agenda, you could say, upon your planet, have disappeared. What I mean by that is that the presence of those dark forces that have existed across the cosmos and have set the agenda in the background upon your planet have been eliminated. It was always intended that their time would end at the time of this coming 2012 solstice, that December 2012 solstice. It was always intended that the time of the dark would end at that moment. And in truth, the timing of what you know of as those energies of December 2012 was planned to be in alignment with the ending of that cycle. I have mentioned before that cycles play a great role in the cosmos, within creation. And the cycle of the dark has been longer than an individual cycle of Brahma. Many of you will not know what a cycle of Brahma is, and if you look in the Hindu traditions, they will explain it for you. They talk about the in-breath and out-breath of God. And the cycle of the dark has extended over many cycles of Brahma. And so it was planned that the cycle of the dark end at what you know of as December 21st, 2012. And indeed, there are other cycles which end at this point. However, what I want to make you aware of is that steps have been taken to end the cycle of the dark earlier than that date, because it became clear that the dark had no intention of honouring that ending of the cycle. And I plan to explain this in more detail on another day. The cycle of ascension upon planet Earth is a critical step in the changes that will flow across the cosmos from this time. And so choices were made by beings that were able to make those choices, that this cycle of the dark would end early, to ensure that ascension would unfold upon your planet as it was planned. And so I want to alert you to the fact that those dark beings that have set the agenda upon your planet are no more, and you will begin to see this filter out as the structures that they created begin to fall apart. I have said previously, as have others, that the secrets of the dark will be exposed. And now that the driving force, the engine room, you could say, of their activities upon your planet have come to an end, this exposure will begin to unfold. And so many have been seeking to deal with this, to battle with this from without, to deal with the corruption, and have found it impossible to do so. And it was always going to be this way, because they held such power. They understood things that humanity did not. And so humanity, indeed individual humans, could never deal with this. And so it has been dealt with in another way. And so This is part of what is coming forth on this date as the engine room begins to engage for that conveyor belt. So it is that those forces which would endeavour to stop this from unfolding have had their time brought to an end. And so I encourage you to watch as the structure of the dark that has been set up in so many ways upon your planet begins to crumble. Mark my words, it will begin to crumble. Watch and observe and note the truth of my words. And so it is.